Okay, today we're going to be reviewing the Ofuzzi pool cleaner. Now, I've got two remote pool cleaners. This is the second one that I have been testing. And I like this one better than the other one that I have because it runs longer and it actually cleans better. And I think it's because it goes a little bit slower than the other one. If you've seen the review for the other pool cleaner that I have, it runs kind of quickly along the bottom of the pool, which tends to kind of stir up the sediment that's down there. And when that happens, it actually causes it to not clean as well. So this particular one runs slower and subsequently does a better job of cleaning. It's got a bigger battery. I believe it's a 6,000 milliamp battery, so it'll run, according to the documentation, I think an hour and 20 minutes or so. I've never actually clocked it to see exactly how long it runs, but I know that it runs at least for an hour and more than that, because I've come up here an hour after I put it in and it was still running. So definitely it runs much longer and cleans much better than the other one. It's pretty simple to open up. You see right here where it's got the word open. It's got the same thing on the other side. You just kind of pull out on those and this section pops up. We'll put this section aside for right now and just show you the bottom part for right now. It's got a very fine, ultra fine mesh filter on there. This really keeps all the particulate matter, I mean, even sand particles from getting pushed back into the pool. It does a really good job of cleaning the bottom of the pool. So as you see, that just kind of snaps in there. And then all of the junk that it vacuums up collects in this area here. It's got two ports here that open up when the suction motor kicks in, the impeller motor kicks in. So it's sucking in, water from underneath, through this opening on both sides. It has it. And then, of course, because this is laid inside, then the water passes through that in through the impeller and then back out the sides to propel it in whatever direction it needs to go. It's a pretty simple design, but it works well. The big wheels help it to travel easily across the floor of the pool. And it's got a built-in brush, which is removable if you don't want to have it on there. And these little wheels right here to kind of keep it, aligned. You notice everything, all these are kind of going in a straight direction, right? So you don't control the movement, the direction of travel here. That's actually done by the impeller motors on the top. So we'll put this here and we will bring the actual power unit up. It comes with this cord which floats along the top of the pool, so it's easy to come out. Once the battery dies, it will just kind of stop, and they basically built it to stop when it gets to an edge of the pool. Whether I have a round pool, but if you've got a square rectangular pool, it should basically come up to the edge and then know that the battery is low enough and it'll just stop there. And of course this will be floating at the top and you can just grab it and pull it up. It is a pretty heavy unit. It's probably twice, maybe 3 times the weight of the other unit that I have. So it is a pretty hefty unit, and that's because of the larger battery. And I think it probably has larger impellers because of that, very reason. It's much larger as well too. But so you've got an impeller on either side. You got one here, and you got one here. So basically, as it bumps, as it runs into a wall, these little arms, as you see here, that travel back and forth. Actually, I'll probably pull it from I can't pull it from the outside. But anyway, this arm travels back and forth, and this is what switches the impeller motor to go from one side to the other. So it'll bump into a wall, and then that motion will force this to go to the other side. And actually, I'll show you here. So when it's running on one side, this wing, if you can see that, see how that pops open? That wing or vent pops open on that side there, and then it's sucking the water through the filter and then coming out of these vents here, and there's an impeller inside, which I don't know if you'll be able to tell from the video, but let's see if I can get it up to the camera. You can kind of see the fins in there. You may or may not be able to see them, but there's fins in there for the impeller. It's the same thing on both sides. It looks exactly the same on both sides. Now you're going to notice that this one is kind of turned in this direction. This side is turned in the opposite direction, and that's because I have a round pool. So they have a diagram on the instructions that basically say if you've got a rectangular pool, set each dial at for this degree, and for a round pool and that sort of thing. So since I have a round pool, I played with it a little bit, and I have it at 20 degrees on both sides. I don't know if you can see the numbers there. They're the same color, so they may be difficult to see, but there's numbers around the edge there, and I have it at 20 degrees on both sides. So basically, as it bumps into the pool, when it starts going in the opposite direction, instead of it going straight, it's going to go like this, right? It's going to go 20 degrees to one side. When it gets to the other side, then it's go 20 degrees in the opposite direction. So basically, it's just going to be bouncing around the pool as it vacuums. It has a charge port cover on the top to help try to keep the charge port dry, which actually works pretty well, even though it's underwater for nearly 2 hours. But there's a charge port, and it does come with a charger. It is a proprietary charger. Funny enough, the charger for my other vacuum cleaner also works on this one too, even though it doesn't have the little notch on it. So they're the same voltage and power. It's 12.6 volt, 1.8 amp. That's actually the same voltage for both chargers, ironically, even though they're different companies. Yeah, pretty much, you can charge it with that. This is the dial that actually controls powering it on. It's off right now. When you turn it on, if I turn it in the right direction, it'll turn blue, and in about 20 seconds or so, it will actually power on. Obviously turn it on, drop it in the water. When it gets to the bottom, it'll power on, and I'm sure it'll power on here shortly. Well, maybe not. It probably senses when there's water. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't test that before. So I guess it knows when there's water. When the battery's dead, as you saw, it turns red. When the battery's dead, now it's not dead because I just charged it, but all the lights will turn red and you'll see it at the bottom of the pool. It'll be red, letting you know that the battery's dead. You need to pull it out and charge it. Pretty simple device. It's easy to use. It takes about 6.5 hours to charge, to become fully charged. And really, that's all you're doing is just dropping it into the pool and letting it run around and vacuum debris up. And then when it's done, you just pull it out and clean it. So I'm going to drop it in the pool here in a little bit and let it vacuum. And then it's actually late in the evening, not late in the evening, it's about almost 7:30 in the evening. So I am going to record the results of the cleaning in the morning, but we'll show you what the pool looks like prior to being cleaned. You can see the difference that it makes. Well, I'm not sure how well you can see into the pool. Unfortunately, I'm getting glare and light refraction from the sun as it is going down. So, but you can see some stuff there. So yeah, I mean, the pool is not filthy, but it's got stuff on the bottom there, and that's primarily because I have an oak tree not directly over the pool, but it goes about maybe 5 or 6 feet over the pool, so it drops pollen and other things in there, which is why I have the vacuum because it's just a pain in the butt to get this stuff out. So kind of this stuff that you see floating here, you know, it kind of floats down into the bottom and collects on the bottom. So, so every few days I run my vacuum or my vacuums in there to get it clean. So anyway, we'll run it, and then I'll show you the results in the morning, what it looks like after this the Ofuzzi vacuum runs through and cleans things up. Actually, I'll show you some video of it running in the pool. And there it goes. I just powered it on, and you see how it turns because of the 20-degree diffraction on those nozzles. So now it hits the wall and it kicks off, and the other nozzle is pointed in 20-degree direction away from that wall, so now it turns in another arc. So it actually covers the whole pool. I'm pretty amazed how these simple mechanical smarts work, and it really does cover the whole pool. So there it goes. And I read in the instructions in the instruction manual as well too, that every X number of turns, I want to say every 10, 15 turns, it actually, by some mechanical fashion, I'm not sure how it does it because it doesn't change the direction of the nozzles, but it forces it to go straight across the center. So basically you don't have a dead zone. Apparently, I guess the previous versions of this you ran into a dead zone in the center of your pool, where it was kind of cleaning around a circular area around the center part where most of the stuff collects, right? So after a certain number of bumps into the wall, they don't really give you a lot of explanation. It will actually kind of shoot semi-straight across the center. So it's always cleaning the edges and the center as well too. So either way, you'll see when this is done, it will, you'll see how well it cleans. All right, well, we'll see you in the morning. All right, well, a good morning to everyone. We are back, and as you can see, the pool looks nice and clean compared to yesterday evening when I dropped in the vacuum. There's some stuff on the bottom, unfortunately, that kind of floated down through the evening, but after the vacuum got done running last night, it was completely clean. You'll have to take my word for it. These bits in here floated down in the evening. So this vacuum really does a good job because it moves slower than the other vacuum that I have, and it has a much more powerful impeller and larger surface area for suction. So I'll probably put them side by side so you can look at them and see what they look like. The openings on the bottom, but anyway, this is a good job that it did yesterday evening. It ran for about an hour and 20 minutes and the battery was still going strong. So you can see over here the Intertech vacuum that I have. It is clearly much smaller than the Ofuzzi. I mean, look at those guys, much smaller. And then the inlets for the water, see how much smaller these are here. So it ends up, you know, sucking a lot less than these inlets do, right? This is much larger. I'd say probably about twice the size of the inlets on that other vacuum. So it ends up creating a lot more suction. It can also grab bigger things. Like the other one would have problems grabbing, you know, large twigs and stuff, and this one clearly doesn't have that problem, as you can see here. Also the screen area. I mean, look at the screen. of the Ofuzzi versus the screen. I'll put them here. If I can stand it up. Well, I won't be able to stand it up. Anyway, you can see the size difference between these two screens, right? So, and the mesh, the quality of the mesh on this screen is much finer than it is on this one. So subsequently, more things are able to get through this screen. I mean, you know, they are small holes, but this is very, very fine. There's a very fine screen on here. So I'd say between the two vacuums, this is the better product. Now, the catch is this one also costs about, depending on when you buy it, anywhere from $100 to $150 more than this vacuum does. So obviously you got to look at your budget as well, right? And the size of your pool, that sort of thing. You know, if you want a cleaner pool and a vacuum that lasts much longer, I'd go with this guy here. All right, well, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope this was helpful in helping you make the right purchase for your pool cleaning needs. We'll see you.